the freshest things to use. Whether it's a kettle or a fermenter, you're gonna choose. From IPAs to stout, we'll break it all down. Step by step guide, wear that brewing crown. Dial it up, find the perfect combination. Join the fun, raise your glass to celebration. Every sip a story, every brew a thrill. And every drop we share, we create the skills. Blasting the mic, we're brewing it right. From the best hops to the malt we write. Telling you the latest tricks fresh from the keg. Helping homebrew soar, just take a leg. Just take a leg. Bring it in, add a zing to your brew. Experiment with flavors, try something new. We're here on the mic, it's a beer lover's dream. As we kick it back, we always build that team. Check your equipment, we'll guide you through. With a little hop magic, the craft starts with you. So grab your gear, let's make it a night. Brewing the best, let's keep it tight. The mic's blasting and the brews keep rolling. Join the conversation, homebrewing's calling.
You're listening to the Beercraft Homebrewing Podcast. Tune in every Wednesday night at 6:30 Pacific for a dose of beer and brewing banter with your hosts, Ben Holm and Andrew Ziegler.
So hop aboard for a little wit and wisdom in the Pacific Northwest, because it's always beer 30 on the Beercraft.
Beer history usually sounds polite. Kings, monks, ancient recipes carved into stone. This one starts with a panic. Too many people, not enough cold storage. A city full of miners who just worked 12 hours and wanted a beer right now. So brewers shrugged, broke free rules, and made something new. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't patient. It was a steam beer.
Which is funny, because the beer that helped start American craft brewing exists because people didn't have time to wait for beer to behave properly. No caves, no ice, no temperature control, just shallow tanks, cool night air, and the hope that it would be drinkable by the time the barrel arrived. Accidental innovation? Americans' favorite way to invent things.
This episode is about a beer that was not meant to survive. A brewery that refused to grow the way everyone expected, and how sharing information turned a local oddball into a spark that lit the whole damn thing.
It's the California Common, an Anchor steam beer, and if you trace the line back far enough, it's probably the reason you're listening to a beer podcast instead of drinking whatever was cheapest in your cooler.
Yeah, steam beer exists because people ignore the rules, drank it anyways, which feels oddly familiar right now.
Yeah. Short attention spans, warm conditions, and everyone asking, is it ready yet?
Exactly. Look, we could keep talking about patience and history and letting things develop properly.
Or we could just acknowledge the universal truth.
You know what time it is?
That's beer 30. You want to do it again? It's beer. Oh.
I'll start. We'll do the you know what time it is. You know what time it is?
It's beer 30.
Andrew, how the heck are you?
Doing really good, Ben.
That is good. It has been a hot minute. We got a little. We had a little delay of game action here last week. Couldn't get out to the studio because
no, it was a 7-day penalty.
It was a 7-day penalty.
Yeah, 7-day penalty.
The flooding. I think you were damn near on an island here, weren't you?
Almost. Yep.
Yeah.
I fared well. I mean, the river crested at 33 feet last night again.
Yeah. We're not done.
I think it was flooded a little more than last week.
Yeah, we're not out of the woods yet. Now we got the high winds and more rain coming. So.
Well, I didn't know because I just got back from Arizona.
You lucky bugger.
Yeah. So I spent 3 days down in the heat and sun and nice weather. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's fucking freezing in the studio.
I know, because the studio was closed up all week.
Yeah. Well, I was outside. The thermometer in my car says 45, and I think that bitch lies because it feels like 35 out there right now. Like, my nipples are cutting glass. It's pretty cold out there.
Cold. Well, let's get a beer going.
We might as well.
What'd you bring us?
I brought us something I hadn't seen before. This is from Frame Brewing down in Hood River. This is their Nectaron Hazy. Nectaron is the hop.
Nectron's the hop.
It is
okay.
a New Zealand hop. Was released to, I got into the homebrew shop about a year ago now. I've played with it a few times.
It says it's a powerhouse.
It is a delicious hop. The flavor descriptor on the hop says intensely tropical, and they're not lying. That is, I don't know what else you'd fucking put on there. So I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this beer.
Too. Need help pouring?
My wife's on the way to Hood River tomorrow, and we were supposed to do this trip a couple weeks ago, but things happen. So she gets to go down there, and it's a work thing. But I don't get to go. So my oldest daughter gets to go hang out in Hood River, and she doesn't even, she'll drink beer, but, she drinks warm Corona without a lime.
No lime, warm.
What? Yeah.
So it's like just a little warmer than cold.
She's the disappointment. Not disappointment, but like her beer tastes are disappointing. I remember when she was young, when she was in high school, she got caught drinking, and like you do. She was talking to her friend on Facebook and about the party they were going to and who's bringing the beer, and her friend left her laptop open, and her mom spotted the messages and called us all up. It's like, we're gonna go pick up our dinner. You should probably go do that too. So sure enough, she was drinking, and she was drinking shitty beer. And I asked her when we picked her up, so what are you drinking? And she said Coors Light. I'm like, I am disappointed in your beer choices. Have I taught you nothing? I mean, I have been a beer nerd their whole fucking life, and she's drinking.
Well,
drinking swill.
I drank a couple of light beers from Miller over the weekend. I mean, you go down to Arizona and everybody's a light beer drinker down there. I mean, it is like a brewery desert where my mom lives. Yeah. At least 15 miles in every direction
to anything.
Yeah. That's almost like anything you want fairly decent or new.
Yeah.
I mean, there's shops and there's food and, other things. But
they got a Gordon Bierschen somewhere.
Gordon Beer should be like down by the stadium.
Yeah.
So that's, and the stadium would be down at the bottom corner of where she's at in that corridor of Phoenix. Of Phoenix, yeah. It's like North Phoenix, Northwest Phoenix, and there's nothing between the freeway. You can literally see the freeway up at the top, and then the two freeways go down to the side, and then freeway at the bottom. Yeah. And within that square, there's no breweries, no nothing.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, we're spoiled out here on the West Coast.
We are very spoiled.
Brewery every 12 seconds in any direction, feels like, especially like Bellingham. Crazy. Where Freeman's at, these guys
are good.
These guys are out of Hood River. It's about a permanent population of about 7,000 people last time I was there, and it does boast quite a bit of tourist activity. It's the wind sailing capital of the world. They've got snow sports all winter long. These guys are right on the water. Fantastic, gorgeous brewery, like brass and shiny silver everywhere, like big production, gorgeous space. They got good food there. Interesting, Hood River doesn't have open container laws. We found out. So
you can walk down there with your growler.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a legal if it's a legal transportation container, you can open it. You can't open it inside. If you get a to-go beer at a bottle shop, you can't open it in the bottle shop. But as soon as you walk outside, over the threshold,
nice.
It includes growlers. So I was doing.
But it doesn't include a glass. It doesn't include.
You can't take your glass outside.
Can't
if you
take your glass
if they had
to-go
glass
cups.
in hand service, you can't do to go. So it has to be a legally packaged.
Okay, no plastics.
So a bottle, a can, or a growler.
Solo cup.
But you can walk down the street with a fucking growler and do 64-ounce bicep curls. Yeah. And it gets easier as the day goes on.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason, I think I'm getting stronger at that point.
So we went to 8 breweries in a day, and I had a fucking my walking around beer was getting lighter. I don't remember much else. It was a pretty good. It's a pretty good trip.
A lot of breweries down there.
Yeah,
along there.
Yeah, we did that like tap trail kind of thing.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. This is a freaking good beer. It has a lot of tropical shit going on.
Has a lot of tropics to it. Has a lot of fruity flavor.
It's like a pineapple-y thing.
Yeah, and
So this is their Nectron Hazy.
I kind of wish for a little bit, maybe. I think it needs something. It's almost like a smash beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can see that.
Because I know they're trying to highlight the Nectaron.
Nectaron, yeah. So it might be a single hop addition. Citrus berry, notes of passion fruit, pineapple, and
there's a lot
sherbet.
going on with the hop.
I get kind of that sherbet thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
It is a powerhouse hop. I have not done a smash. I don't do a lot of smash beers. I think they're kind of they're one dimensional.
Yeah.
They're one trick pony.
But then what would you actually pair with this? What are you going to make with this in order to come along?
Food wise, or
No,
a different
hop?
I mean, I think just a not using it for bittering, get a nice backbone of bittering. This doesn't have the bitter punch.
No,
but some many hazy IPAs are like 30 IBUs or 13 or something like that.
Does it even say
like
on here?
It doesn't give us that
No
lie
IBU.
anyway. So I would do a solid bittering. I would probably pair this with Citra and Amarillo or something like that. Amarillo has a cool ability, right? Like it changes, it transforms other hops used with it. So that's pretty cool. I think you would see, what did I used it in a beer kit, and I cannot remember what else I put in there. But
Which one?
But it was I'll wager that Citra and Amarillo were in there. But it's a good beer. It's definitely light. It's got a cool hazy yellow color.
Yep.
God, what's that remind me of?
It's not too hazy, but it's got
a good opacity.
Yeah, it's opaque.
On my side of the table with a light directly overhead of it, it's very opaque. You've got a little backlight situation here in the studio. None of you can see these, so I'm describing stuff you can't actually tell. Maybe we'll take some pictures here. That'd be good. Little money shot action for the blog or something.
Now, how long has this hop been around?
I don't have its
Nectaron.
I don't have its development history. You get into these catalogs. Oh, developed by so and 72 and blah blah. It's kind of dry information. We got it into the shop a couple of years ago, and started playing around with it, and it's appropriately described. Very tropical. I have done it with Talus, which has a really good Talus is kind of like grapefruit, it's like Cascade on steroids. It's like really bright citrus aromas. That plays really, really well with a lot of things. This would be the first single hop. I mean, it definitely tastes like a single hop.
Yeah,
it doesn't have like a huge dynamic hop bill
profile. No.
Yeah,
but I mean, there's a lot of different things.
That
going
one
on
hop
in
is
this
doing
hop.
a lot of work. Yeah,
it is.
I don't get much of the
Sweetness.
passion fruit, but I get some of that pineapple. Definitely, it describes it as sherbet. I was like, I can see where they're getting on that. Like, it's got this kind of smooth, that frozen fruit kind of quality to it. Not bad.
It's really good.
I will drink another one. That's for sure. Well, welcome home, man.
Thank you.
How warm was it? What was your temperature ranges you got to hang out in?
In my mom's house, 80 degrees.
Motherfucker.
In the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was like 70s. It was in the 70s.
No.
Yep.
Yeah.
Super nice.
Got none of that. I mean, we've been kind of the weather, apart from the wind and rain, it hasn't been cold yet. So this is kind of like the first oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yep. It's starting to get cold to the core.
Mid-December. We're in winter now.
Yeah.
As soon as winter is in 3 days.
When I got back today,
4 days,
stepped outside, I was like, "Ooh, it's cold."
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
This sucks.
Yeah. What happened? What happened to Mom's living room?
Yeah. So this is our first trip back to the studio since the flooding. So apologize if you missed us. We missed you too.
We missed you all.
We were busy. I think last Wednesday I was
trying to rowboat out of here.
Last Wednesday I was of course packing up the shop for the big move, and then my wife says, "Hey, they're giving out sandbags. We should go bag the building." So we went and got.
And you said, "Who is we?"
Yeah,
who me and Andrew?
That's Andrew and I. Andrew was nice enough to volunteer to come out and play, and we went and sat in line forever to get sandbags and did all that. And boy, I was pretty tuckered out, and just worried about how bad's the water get, because both the brew shop, current location and the new location of the shop and my house all are within 2 blocks of the floodplain,
right?
That they're evacuating. So
your shop fared well.
we stayed dry.
Good.
When
Both of
when the slough tipped over, we're surrounded by the slough on two sides. We're immediately to the east and south of us. That slough wraps around the building, and it didn't get up to where we were at. I was happy about that. For the new shop location, of course, Fairhaven was closed, not too far away from our address there. I think the river at home in Cedar Woolley, it got as close as like 5 blocks from the house. It's gotten as close as 2 blocks, so I was feeling okay on that one. All the kids and grandkids, they went up the hill to Auntie's house up on the hill, and
so they're
we
fine.
stayed down. It was delightfully quiet in the house without the dog and 2 grandkids and
nice
and all that.
Kind of got
2
a
other
little,
humans.
a
I'm
break.
It was like a little
flood vacation.
2-night like staycation with the wife. That was pretty sweet. Yeah.
You probably should arrange more of that.
Yeah, like I'll turn on the waterworks. I'll call the manufacturers. Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about all the water we had, and there was something like 14 inches of rain we got in a very short amount of time for the 2 rivers or something like that.
Couple days last week.
Yeah, and I was like, well, how much water is in a cubic foot? And I didn't have an answer for that. So I Googled it, and apparently it's like 7.41 gallons in a cubic foot of water. And then I said, well, how big is Skagit County? I mean, how many square feet in Skagit County are there? And I did the math, and essentially we got, for Skagit County alone, we got dumped on for 35 billion gallons of water in 5 days.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's a lot.
Damn.
Like it's all,
the numbers got really big.
Rushing down to us.
Yeah. So
and bringing all the debris,
right.
all the
so
logs.
35 billion gallons dumped on the whole of Skagit County, emptying into a 5-block fucking strip around the river.
Yep.
Jesus, that's a shit pot of water, man.
And that's got to go out to the Sound.
Yeah.
All of this, and every river is full.
Yeah.
So the Sound is full.
Yep.
Yep, which backs up the rivers a little more.
Yeah, I was seeing pictures of Auburn and Renton getting, flooding down the street, like underwater gas stations.
Well,
and
Renton
shit.
has a river going right through it.
Yeah,
White, what is it? Is that the White River? No.
Green River?
Cedar River.
Cedar River, okay.
It's a Cedar River.
Pretty much every waterway was in the coast, northwest coast was
flooded.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
stupid amount of water. But we're back. We're glad to be back.
Yep.
We've got a show for you tonight. We're gonna talk about some steam beer, but I think first we're gonna take a little break and we're gonna go pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
All right. Thank you.
The Brewers step up to the kettle against their rivals, the Bad News Beers. GM signals a pale ale with a little Vienna malt to keep things light. An easy mash out for the Brewers. Next up in the order, the All-Star Hops making their way to the kettle. A little late change up, moving them down to a 10-minute edition. Here's the pitch. A clean American ale has this crowd drooling. 68 degrees of fermentation, and it's goodbye beer! Beer and baseball go together like hot dogs and buns. Hit your home run with Northwest Brewer Supply.
So I think the history of beer is, well, I think of it as a fascinating sideline of mine. A delicious collision of narrative and nourishment. And the steam beer alone, it is probably, for a lot of us, the reason we get to have this conversation. Recently, the AHA, or a couple years ago, the AHA did a poll, and they asked everybody, like, what is that one beer that that divided the line, drew a line between for beer. And we weren't talking about ales versus lagers, dark beers versus light beers, or IPAs versus everything else. They were talking about the one beer that blew your mind, that divided beer into 2 camps, and that was the beers every beer you'd had before that beer, and everything you would drink after that. And one of the top 2 spots for that category were Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, which we've talked about a lot on this show.
Oh yeah.
The other one was Anchor Brewing Steam Beer. And in fact, we can't have this. We can't even talk about Sierra Nevada without talking about Anchor Steam Beer. So this was a pivotal moment and it was responsible for the birth of the craft movement. But before all of that, the beer didn't start, or the steam beer didn't start with Anchor.
Where did it start?
Well, it goes way, way back to the California Gold Rush. So 1849, 1855, we saw a population boom on the West Coast.
Before the brewery even existed.
Yeah, well before. We would see a population, with the Gold Rush, we saw a population boom in excess of 310% population growth in a very short window. And
looks like 6 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of movement into San Francisco, right?
Yep. Miners.
So everybody's searching for gold and trying to strike a rich. And so we also had a population of German immigrants who made the trek across the coast, leaving the East Coast and migrating over
for a better life.
Yeah, and hey, free money coming out of the dirt, right?
Yeah,
All you got to do is go pick it up. I'm on the fucking train, yeah. And so the German immigrants coming over here know how to make beer, and they get over here, and it's a little different. It's a little hot. It's a little too warm for the beers they would like to make.
You can't do it traditional ways.
Right. That wouldn't work out. The yeast they brought with them, cold tolerant lager strains, that wasn't going to work. There were no limestone caves to stash beer into. No cold storage, no refrigeration. So what do you do? And that's kind of where...
Move to the Rockies.
Move to the Rockies. Yeah, go back. Abandon all hope for finding fucking gold and move to Golden, Colorado. No, that was... So we don't have refrigeration. You can get ice, but somebody's got to go into the mountains and...
Chisel it out.
Carve it out.
Bring it back.
Wrap it up and put it on a fucking truck all the way downtown to San Francisco. That's an expensive proposition, right? That is not a short trip from Northern California. Yeah. Right, the word ice box. Remember the early refrigerators?
Yeah.
Was literally a box with a block of ice in it. Yeah, a huge block of ice.
Kept everything cold. Heck yeah.
So brewers, they had to adapt. They had to try to do something.
So what are we going to do?
Yeah,
we're going to adapt. We can't wait for perfect conditions.
Right,
they're not coming. All right, what's the first thing we do?
Well, they just started brewing, and I think they started farting around with what they could do.
Right.
And one of the things they tried, and this is not like a new thing. It wasn't an invention in San Francisco, but there's a thing called a cool ship. Have you heard of these ones?
I've heard of that.
Yeah, they're long, shallow vats for beer. The Belgians, some of those Belgian abbeys, have long, shallow, open fermenters, and all manner of flora and fauna falls into the beer and makes the beer. We did a show about Belgians, right?
Yeah.
So one of the things they take these cool ships and they'd hoist them up onto they build it on the roof of the brew house, one theory, and they'd cool it off. They'd cool that wort down and ferment it right there on the rooftop.
Yeah.
And so the yeast kind of, after several bitches,
natural, right?
the yeast mutated. It adapted to its conditions, and we would get a lager strain that was warm tolerant fermentation. Yeah, and that didn't go bananas.
Right. Didn't give me a whole bunch of sulfur and other off gassing.
Right. They would do what they could do, and the beer was pretty inexpensive. Use local ingredients and make as much as you can and sell it as fast as you can.
Right, because there's so many people coming.
And everybody was brewing this kind of beer, this steam beer thing. The California, and that's part of the name, California Common. It wasn't a trademark or branded kind of thing. Everybody just started brewing. It's like, it works. Yeah, let's make some more.
Yeah, it was kind of, you're going to the homebrew shop and somebody's going to go, hey, what's going to work best in my environment right now? And then you can kind of say, hey, use this, use that.
Do it this way, do it with this yeast.
So everybody's learning.
Yeah. And they produce it, the warmer temperatures makes even a lager strain, go really fast. Right? One of the things with lager strains, they're cold tolerant, and you'll see You have to use twice as much yeast for the same gravity as an ale.
It's slow.
Because yes, it's active, but it's it's cold. It's still cold and it's slow. So you get around that by using twice as much. Well, now you've got an adaptive version that's fine in warmer temperatures, relatively clean.
Yep. Now
And
it's gonna ferment faster.
It's a lot faster. You don't have a lager cave, so we're not even going to fucking store it. Like,
right.
We're going to tap that sumbitch and you're going to drink it. So that's kind of the birthplace of that steam beer. This necessity of using what you got, what you can do.
Yeah, and what you had to do for the people that were there.
Yeah, for
And
all of them, all thirsty fucking people.
all thirsty miners.
Yeah.
And everybody who supported them.
Right. Like for every miner, there's 12 other people supporting the mine, right? Yep. Kind of ratios just in, logistics, food.
Who's going to sell them wares?
Lodging.
Who's going to have food along the way? Who's going to sit here? Yeah.
So the name steam beer has kind of interesting origin stories. There's a couple of possibilities. One of them we talked about, the cool ship being on the roof, and
as it's fermenting, did it look like steam coming off the building?
It would, it would be, you see waves of evaporative, moisture in the air on the top of a brewery or something like that, and it kind of, making this looking steam, especially if it's hot work going up, piped up to the roof. That's gonna be cooling off. First, yeah. In central the San Francisco Valley's got interesting weather patterns. They got a lot of fog anyway, so that's a possibility.
It's like moisture in the air. I mean, that would freak me out. Yeah. Because the moisture.
But if it smelled like beer, I'd be okay.
No, freak me out getting fog in my beer.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because the moisture collects everything. I guess if it collects everything from all around, then that's what you want, maybe.
I have never been in that famous fog of San Francisco. I've heard it is quite severe. Like really low visibilities. Have you ever been down there for any of that? I mean, I've only been there in nice weather.
I think when I was there, when I was a young child, 8 years old, it was foggy. Yeah. Down on Fisherman's Wharf. We were somewhere else. Yeah.
Lots of marine haze and fucking fog. So that's one possibility is the cool ships. The next one, these beers, because they were being cranked out at the rate that they were. Not every brewery's beer was finished before they stuck it in the barrel as a potential. So they'd ship it and it would get highly, highly carbonated. And when they'd tap that son of a bitch, it would, you would get and kind of a fog of, beer spray, beer foam, and kind of come when you tap it because it was under that much pressure. So that sounds viable. I mean, I've had beers that have, over-carbonated in a bottle. They get crazy as soon as you open them up. As soon as you expose a little oxygen to them, and they, rapid gas expansion and big mess. So I can imagine in a barrel, if it got pressure, like when you tap that thing, it's gonna
explode.
Yeah. So that's a possibility.
Yeah. I like the rooftop. I like the
rooftop has a definite romanticism too.
It does.
The final one is it's a linguistic carryover from the German beer. There's a word Dampfer that translates directly to steam beer. A Dampfer is a warm fermented wheat beer already existing in Germany. And then so maybe the German immigrant brewers would use a familiar language for unfamiliar conditions. So steam beer became the American steam beer versus Dampfer, even though Dampfer means steam beer.
Right. In Germany.
Yeah. And that's highly possible.
And that was a wheat beer too, so it's made a little different.
And it's a possibility. It's a combination of those things. History is a funny, we're never 100%. For history, we can only.
The guy that made the best beer wrote the history.
Right. There's a lot of bias that can crop up. You only have the most. You only have to look at the most vocal surviving evidence of it, and if the most vocal surviving evidence for steam beer was this rooftop story. Then that's the one that sticks.
That's what we'll get
until something else gets uncovered. Some ancient tomb of all knowledge gets imparted upon us. Then,
well, we're gonna have to write this down and not keep it in the cloud.
Yeah,
I mean, actually, on books.
Well, now we have a lot of digital information. So is is that archive ready? And
somebody's going to find our scripts one of these days and have a whole trove of all our information.
Yeah,
like yes,
it's terabytes of data now a year or two.
Or a ream of paper at least.
So that's kind of like the steam beer, like its origin stories, that
cool.
Gold Rush
kind of cool
era, and everybody brewed some version of it. It was they'd crank it out.
Yeah.
It was not a beer that took long to make. You could crank it out, get it to tap rooms and publicans and wherever you need to do it, and sell that beer.
Right.
And everybody was thirsty, so didn't have any problem selling it.
Now, how did they? Okay, did breweries share this yeast, like when they kreuzen, or like scrape something before we could harvest?
If you're sending in a barrel, and if there's any truth to the fact that the barrels may not have been a finished fermentation inside the barrel, you're going to have yeast in there.
Yep.
So a barrel has always been kind of expensive, but if it's free fucking yeast, maybe destroying that thing is. I don't know what happened to it, Bob. I was going to give you your barrel back to get a full, but
it's my barrel now.
And so there's quite a bit of that.
Because there's a lot of there was quite a few breweries brewing this type of a beer. So
right, and bottle conditioning. Your beer would have been a way too.
It was from the natural fauna.
Yeah, you could harvest viable yeast from the dregs of a bottle, and propagate it up. That was not outside the capabilities of an 1850s brewer.
Right. Now at Fountain Brewing in Bellingham, where Jen works, our cider winner, I think she named one of their beers the Fog.
Very cool.
Yeah, but it's not a steam beer.
But it's cider. But it's got the.
That's not a cider. No, it's a hazy. I think they're hazy. But it's pretty cool. So I'm gonna have to ask her if she can ferment it with fog once.
We've been talking about kind of the how this beer, this California Common is sort of responsible for the craft beer movement of the last late 70s, early 80s. So that's that's 40 some odd years of craft, and we didn't even it wasn't called craft then. It was just micro beers. It was anything that wasn't Budweiser, any of the macro,
or Schlitz.
But the way it started a movement, and that takes us to Anchor. That brings us to that Anchor steam beer. That beer became kind of a focal point for a movement, and it had an unlikely reason behind it.
Now, they probably didn't have the infrastructure behind the breweries as much as they did out east, right?
Well, it's interesting. So Anchor Brewing was kind of a failure. As a brewery, it was a failure. It was known largely for sour beers. They just did not have the cleanliness program. They weren't doing it right. It was always a small brewery in San Francisco, and it was really struggling, like gonna go closed. And it was purchased by an unlikely source. It was purchased by one Fritz Maytag, and that is
we talked about this.
Yeah, Fritz Maytag. That is heir to the Maytag appliance fortune. Right.
And so he used his knowledge to make the equipment.
He didn't know shit about beer. He bought a failing brewery
and refined the equipment, right?
Well, he got in and he turned over every stone, and he looked in every vat, and he went out and tried to learn as much as he could about manufacturing beer to make it better. And this is very similar to what they were doing with appliances. They were perfecting that process to create a good product, a great product.
Right.
And so he was doing that with brewery, and he would talk to as many people as he could to get the knowledge. But kind of the birth of craft of this whole movement is the fact that Fritz would not hoard that information. So if you were in the same struggle position, if he had the answer, he would share that. So if your brewery's getting struggling, calling up Fritz Maytag, say, what do you do about X, Y, or Z? And by then, at some point, he figured it out, and he would share that information. which is a little bit different in a commercial setting. The hoarding of knowledge, would be a very that's trade secrets.
Right.
We're not gonna share that. We're gonna be the top dog.
We are going to be the ones that know what we're doing.
Fritz didn't want the brewery to be a top dog. He wanted to make good beer. He wanted to be profitable in the brewery. And
it sounds like he wanted to help others too.
He understood that for him to be successful, for that brewery to be as successful as he wanted to be and profitable as he wanted to be, he could not be the only one making a small batch quality beer. Kind of that the rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing. So he was the tide. So his sharing of information, like freely to competitive brewers, like down the street even, right, in his own backyard, it made them better, which legitimized his quality product.
Right.
And everybody won.
Yeah.
He would inspire Ken Grossman of Sierra Nevada. He would inspire the Rob and the Widmer brothers, Rob and fucking my brain. It's now leaving my face hole. I can't remember Rob's brother's name. The Widmer brothers, right?
I can't remember.
Yeah. He would inspire so many of the craft beer luminaries that we would recognize today.
I remember Pyramid.
Yeah. Doug Hale of Hale's Ale benefited from Fritz Maytag.
A lot of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so one of his beers he would take would be this steam beer.
This is one way that the steam beer became so popular.
Well, he kind of revived it because
all of these breweries
it
started
had
making
died off. The steam beer as a style was kind of dead post Prohibition. So many West Coast breweries quit, and he's in the back catalog of Anchor was a recipe for a steam beer that they'd produced. And so let's fucking make that. That sounds interesting. And sold the hell out of it and drank really well. Remember last time you had one? It's been a while because they're no more. We can no longer have any Anchor steam beer, which is kind of sad.
When's the last time I had one?
Yeah, been
10
a while.
years?
Yeah. I remember the Brown Lantern Ale House always had it on tap when you could. Sadly, the brewery was sold to, I think, Japanese brewing group, the same guys who own like Sapporo.
Yeah.
And I think they closed they defunct the brand. They just shut it down. And that was a couple years ago, which is kind of sad. But that style, we were talking about, that style had kind of died out with Prohibition, loss of breweries everywhere. It kind of faded into insignificance post-Prohibition. Big macro lager starts taking off. There's only a handful of breweries left. You got your Pabst, you got your Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch.
13 years, right?
Yeah, and so only the big boys survived, and they all started making kind of like that co-op product. Everybody's kind of not unlike the steam beer, right? The steam beer was brewed by everybody, so light lagers were also brewed by everybody who were still around post-Prohibition. Very easy drinking beer.
Right, but those lagers are going to be made into more colder
sure. Those
regions,
would be,
right?
Or refrigeration becomes a thing. So
at that
the
point.
need to do a cool ship on the roof or anything like that, you didn't have to do that. You could just turn on the compressor and chill the vat and keep it cold. And you could have a proper lager program
but that's no longer steam beer.
And so that's why it went away.
And it went away. Yeah.
You didn't have to do so. Steam beer was a function of necessity.
Yeah.
It was never a function of like, oh, this is the best beer ever made, let's make more of it. It was a function of, well, this is a good beer we can make here.
Right. And we can make a lot of it. And it's
really quickly and cheaply.
It's good enough for everybody.
Win-win.
Yep.
Right? It was the born of necessity.
Everybody wanted beer. Everybody wanted the beer.
I'm thirsty talking about it. Yeah.
Dang.
It's a good beer. That steam beer. Shit, that stuff is good. All right. So Fritz Maytag. The biggest
Say that
things.
again.
So Fritz Maytag with brewery, some of the biggest things he did for Anchor was like literally just like cleaning everything up. He made sure that the cleaning and sanitation protocols were up to par. Like he understood, he learned and understood enough that if you have a sour beer problem, it is a
There's
sanitation
bacteria
problem
somewhere.
Yeah.
And it's really super hard to track it down.
Yeah.
So, like you said, he left no stone unturned, and he probably went, oh, here's
This
a
ain't
valve.
right. Yeah.
You never took this valve off?
This thing's crunchy. I mean, I've had that. So I've had that in the in my counseling sessions with brewers at the shop. I was like, I ran into my first wild butyric acid infection, and I was like, oh, I got bad news for you, brother. I know exactly what that problem is.
Somebody brought that in.
Yeah, and because it was happening at multiple batches.
Oh, that's
and so
a
like
chiller?
you've got to. Well, it was.
Butyric acid.
It was in his kettle valve and also like the keg posts. I think those are the last two things he dismantled.
Yeah, for everybody listening out there, if you do corny kegs, you need to disassemble them every time.
I get lazy and I do it, periodically,
Okay. All
but
right. That's the difference between me and you.
yeah. I'm kind of a lazy brewer.
No, I take them apart. I clean them. I make
It's
sure.
a better if you want to be certain you're never going to have an infection with a corny keg, that is very good advice.
Now, when you're doing a Sankey keg, now you need caustic, and you need the brewers wash the acid or the. I can't remember what it's called.
There's
M3 or something.
Yeah, and there's like
There's a
color
couple different
reactant. There's color reactant rinse agents. Like if you don't, ensure that you get all of the caustic out of there, so they react with any lye left over. Or
if you're using Sankeys, you're usually probably going to have a bigger brew system.
Sure.
So you can use your brew system to clean your kegs all at once
for your rinse water.
Yeah. And then you're going to have your acid, and then your rinse water, and then your sanitation.
Yeah, but it's hard. You plug it in, one way in, one way out, and it's the same hole on the keg. So making sure you get that, like you rinse longer than you think you like.
Right.
When you're confident that you've rinsed your keg out on a commercial, you run it for 5 more minutes.
Yeah, there's a colleague of mine in Baja. He had Eden Sins Brewery. It's kind of like a contract brewery. But he had worked for a few of the breweries down there in Rosarito, and he said that they asked him to come in and track down this infection in somewhere in their brew house, and he found it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, he found it and helped him out and got it back on track. Pretty cool. So I can imagine all this.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about that that butyric acid infection. We I sent him home like, hey, I know what this is. It's bad. You've got to clean everything. You've got to get in there and clean everything, dismantle everything you can, and do that. Well, he did most of it. He did most of the easy stuff, but like some of his ball valves, that even it's a 2-piece ball valve, like it's a lot of work to crack that thing open. It takes they're on there pretty good.
Right.
They do come out though.
Yep.
And he didn't do that, and he didn't dismantle
like
a keg post. Yeah.
It's nasty.
Yeah, because he came back in and was like, I still get it. I still find it. It's like, well, did you clean everything? Mostly. I'm like, well, then you didn't clean everything. So,
still there.
If you didn't clean everything, you haven't really cleaned anything. So
that's true. It's the one littlest thing in the end that can get you.
Yeah.
Ruin the entire batch.
That steam beer. So Fritz Maytag did more for the craft movement than even the likes of Ken Grossman, who was inspired by him and learned from his lessons. And we get this craft movement, and hell, we didn't even call it craft. It was just a microbrew thing, the 1980s through the 90s.
Maytag stepped in 65.
Yeah.
Mid 60s.
Yeah. But he proved a point with that beer is that Americans would drink flavorful beer, right? There was room for beer that didn't taste like everybody else,
right?
Hey, there was room
for microbrew, rather than macrobrew,
right?
Everybody's doing macrobrew back on the East Coast, big breweries pumping it out.
Yeah, Hale of Hales Ale and Sierra Nevada would come up. The first pale ale in Washington was by Hales Ales or.
Hales.
Yeah, Hales Ales was the first pale ale. Ken Grossman might have been the first in California. Of course, he did a number like he gave us the Chico strain, right? The 1056. Is the second most popular yeast on the planet.
Yeah.
That shocks a lot of people when I say that. Second most popular, Chico. Yeah.
First popular is probably a lager yeast.
Yeah, it's 2120. It's the 3470 TOM 3470 lager strain outsells 1056. But
I wonder by
most
how much.
like says, well, there's so much more lager produced
Yeah.
under that yeast than 1056. But 1056 is up there. It's just not nearly as much. So
Now this
yeah.
I need another beer. This label is really freaking me out because it starts like it's orange, and I look at this other side, it's red, but then I turn it and it's orange again, and I'm like, what is going on here? That's pretty cool. Pretty cool label.
Yeah, because there's the seam line on it.
Yep.
So it just means that's they've done a clever thing here, right? So I don't know what the labeling laws for beer in Mexico were, but I know here in the States, everything that's on your can has to be approved.
Yes.
So this black can has a sticker on it, and that sticker says
has a
Nectaron
band.
IPA.
It has a band.
Yeah.
It's like a 1-inch band that wraps around about 3/4 of the way up
I mean,
the
I've
can.
seen like the can sleeves and stuff.
Yeah, the can
This
sleeves
one-
are cool. But this
what-
is a black can with the Freem logo, with the
now I wanna
with
peel-
the background.
What was the OG?
Just a black can.
It's just like a. It's
yeah,
just
so they can do that.
So they have one can.
Yep. Now they can label them.
And they have a skinny. That's an economic choice because I peeled the label off and it's just this textured kind of band on the can. So it's just kind of a, hey, put the fucking sticker here.
Right. And then the sticker is disappointing. Sorry, Freem.
It's disappointingly sticky.
It's disappointing because
There's not a lot of room on the sticker to really talk about the beer.
There's not enough plastic in the sticker. That's too like paper.
It does have kind of
does.
It does have like a
like
gradient color from like orange to red. That's interesting.
It does.
I have not seen a beer label sticker that small.
I'm peeling this as we speak. It's coming. It's going.
Do you see any you coming up with anything other than the texture pattern?
No, that's it. Just the lines.
That's kind of fucking smart.
Then they have to order small labels. You know what I mean? These labels are smaller. You have
Right.
To have,
You can more on a roll.
Yeah.
Fits in a box. It's cheaper.
cheaper to ship.
Yeah, so you can do all your X batches with just I mean, you still have to pay. You have to still pay the same fee. You have to pay the same art department to design now a constrained label. But in terms of like cost of the sticker, that is cheaper than a can sleeve.
Got it.
And your machine can just roll the cans across it.
Okay, I got it.
Oh yeah, there you go. You got the whole thing.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, stick it up on my mirror.
There you go. That's a good. Yeah, cover up that Miller Lite shit.
Light beer from Miller.
Light beer
I just had one on.
in Arizona, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it was Sunday night when I first got there.
Very cool.
Yeah, when I first got there, I was gonna go grab some beer. I'm like, hey, I need the keys. Let me go to the store. And the neighbor guy Nick, he's like, bro, I got light beer right here. I'm like, okay, then I don't have to go to the store.
Great. Got beer?
Then there was a little Fireball, so I supplemented.
Oh
it.
man, I can't drink that Fireball shit.
It was green apple Fireball.
Oh, that makes me vom a little bit in my mouth. That regular Fireball is too fucking
Sweet.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
so sugary. This shit's like instant heartburn for me. The older I get, the less I can handle sugar for dumb
And
reasons.
it gave me a little bit of a headache the next morning. And I usually never get any kind of a hangover.
I try not to drink that much anymore.
Well, there's only not even half a bottle of it.
Yeah. Play bubbles. You ever play bubbles with Fireball?
No, huh?
So you take the whole bottle and you put it to your lips and then you invert it, and you count the bubbles as you're chugging it.
Yeah.
And you see who gets the most bubbles from chugging.
Oh, you just gotta kind of
Fireball.
let it go slow, like
No,
little
you
bubble.
want bubbles. That's the only way to get. Yeah, it's the only way to get points. Dumb game.
Drinking games.
Kids don't do that game.
I
It's
love
dumb.
drinking games. I made up this drinking game once with cards and it was dice. It was a dice drinking game.
Yeah.
It's kind of modeled after this other drinking game where you have a certain number you got to hit, and then if you hit certain numbers, you got to drink the glass. If you
it's kind of like craps, and you
can make somebody else drink the glass. But if you hit there's two numbers you hit that you have to add your beer to the glass, and you can pour as much in or as little in as you want, but the person who overflows the glass has to drink it all, and that's a mix of all the beers up to the table. Yeah,
that's like the mixathon, the mixalathon,
yeah, the mixathon
at Beer Stock.
Yeah.
So we're talking about we're a little tangential at this point.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
That's
we're
okay.
just
it's our show.
We're just history speaking today.
So I think the big takeaways for Steam Beer, was Fritz Maytag sharing information that birthed the craft movement.
That is super cool, because that is one thing that I think as homebrewers, as a lot of our community breweries will do the same. Still do that same.
We're
share
doing
that community.
We're doing that right now.
We are. Yeah.
We're sharing everything that we know about beer with you folks, the listeners, so that you can make better beer. So hats off to Fritz Maytag. Fritz Steps. Ooh, writing that down. Where's your Fritz Steps at? Yeah. Walk your walk, talk your Fritz Steps. I like that.
Talk your talk, and do your Fritz
Steps.
Steps.
It's in the notes now.
Cool.
In Sharpie even.
Good, man.
Well, so we were this topic has been one I've bandied about the shop before. I've written blog posts about it, and we even went so far as to produce our own Anchor Steam clone, and we called it the Fidalgo Fog. It was a seasonal we did a couple years ago. It is not a complex beer. Would you like to hear about it?
Tell me, please.
No, yeah.
I think we've talked about it before, but I need a refresher here.
So the beer is 4.8%. True to its form, it is not a huge beer. It is a daily drinker. You can drink a lot of them. It is a pretty hop forward beer at 47 IBUs.
And do we have
with a super? What's that?
Do we have the IBUs on the original Steam?
I don't have them in front of me.
Well, I mean, but were they mid range?
This is close to source.
Okay.
The grain bill. This grain bill comes from the whole recipe comes really from BYO magazine. They're like 250 clone brew issue or something. The editors at that point had pretty good insider knowledge. Like they would talk to the breweries and breweries owners who would participate, and so they had good intel on what it was. Yeah, so these are this is the kinds of products you would use for this beer. It's a very simple grain bill for a 5-gallon batch for all grain. It is 10 pounds of 2-row and 14 ounces of Crystal 80. So this is kind of a dark, like almost an amber kind of color.
A little bit. It's less than a pound of Crystal. Yeah. Crystal 80 though.
It's not so much in the reds. It's kind of like, but it is pretty dark. It's kind of like a light brown color, and pretty so really simple. If you're doing extract, you're going to steep 14 ounces of Crystal 80, and you're going to use 2 tubs of liquid malt extract, or two, like I use at the shop, we have the Breeze 3.3 pounders, so 6.6 pounds. If you're using dry malt, you could probably get away with 5 pounds of dry malt extract. If you're brewing with somebody else's, like the whole 7, I see a lot of like 7-pound jugs of extract. We used to do package 7-pounders, off a big 30-gallon barrel, and that's just a sticky mess, so we quit doing that. It's not much fun.
How do you do it
now? We just buy the pre-pack 3.3s.
Buy the tubs.
So the freshness is nicer. One of the things with extract is it does oxidize.
Oh yeah.
I was reading
you'd have to pressurize the barrels then.
Well, it'll flow out of the barrel, but you let it. Yeah, we did not. We would just open the valve and crack open and let O2 in, and it would go into a vessel. And you put a lid on it, but there is some oxidative. So
because air has to get in somehow.
Yeah, you can't. Otherwise, you can't just pour it.
It doesn't come out.
Yeah, it's a bad day.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the thing you did for a long time. The Breeze pre-pack stuff, it's under good conditions. It's fantastic. and that really impacts the freshness. There's kind of this, the extract brewing kind of gets a bad rap some days, especially because there's kind of like
gets a bad rap.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily the extract; it's the fact that it's old oxidized extract.
Aha.
So that kind of an extract beer, like there's kind of this like interesting metallic twang,
Yep.
I call it, and it's indicative of extract
It's
brewing.
a little older.
It usually fades out over time. Like if you age your beer a little bit more, that quality kind of takes a backseat.
Dissipates, yeah.
But it's a function of oxidized extracts.
Huh.
So freshness always is like. So if you're not buying from me and you're buying outside this marketplace, if it's a shop with a good turnover of product, you're gonna be okay.
You got to have a big one.
Otherwise, check your friggin' or the pre-pack stuff. I prefer the pre-pack stuff for freshness.
Yeah.
I didn't, as a business owner, if I'm saving money on 32 gallons of extract, shipped on a pallet, but I still have to pick that son of a bitch up onto a rack and have a specialty tool to open the stew because it's a weird, it's more like a big plastic screw that closes it. So you need a specialty tool to open it. You need a specialty valve to, that'll, close it off, and it's still a sticky mess.
It's always a sticky mess.
Yeah, and so there's not like small scale
And then you're gonna let people
CO2 injectors. Yeah, no, I'm never gonna do that. Like I would never, because it's bad enough if you've been trained to do that.
I've seen that. People go there and
you're just asking
for a mess. You're asking for a mess.
And as a small business owner, I'm like not gonna I would not recommend that. If you had, if you were trying to keep oxygen out of your extract supply, that's going to require even more. So you're already at kind of like maximal effort to save a little money on some extract in terms of, your per ounce price. And it's going to go bad faster and it's going to cost you more money. So
a lot of variables there.
Yeah, to keep it fresh and viable costs more money than you saved.
For you cut out that variable and you have a consistency that I think home brewers need to keep in mind and
for freshness.
Use that fresh product. Yeah.
And that makes a hell of it, because if you use fresh extract, like there's no big swing in terms of like, okay, for competitive brewers, you do not see more all grain brewers winning competitions than extract brewers. It's fairly evenly split. The quality ingredients, the knowledge of the brewer, their experience and process. That's what makes a good beer great. Recipe is a thing. So if you're writing your own, and
you go through your steps, but if you don't have those right ratios, your recipes,
it's your beer is out of balance. Balance is a whole ass thing. So we were talking about the Fidalgo Fog before we got tangentialized again. Simple grain bill. Yeah. So again, that's 10, and we're gonna put the link because you don't have to write anything down if you don't want to.
And you just come into the shop and ask for Ben's
the
Fog.
Fidalgo Fog, a California Common Anchor Steam clone, 10 pounds of 2-row, 14 ounces of Crystal 80. We are gonna mash that at 151 degrees for 60 minutes. I'm a big fan of single infusion mashes. I find step mashing protocols fiddly.
Depends on how you like your beer.
Yeah.
I'm a big step masher.
I'm lazy. I'm a lazy brewer.
I'm lazy too.
Yeah.
But
So the hopping schedule on this one, it's a single hop. It's not a smash beer because we have two different malts, but it is a single hop. Yeah. We're going to use Northern Brewer, an ounce of Northern Brewer at 60 minutes, and we're going to split another ounce of Northern Brewer.
Okay.
At a 10-minute edition and 1-minute edition.
Okay.
Northern Brewer, it is a great little hop. It kind of has this like herbally, minty hop, like it's hoppy like a Hollow Tower hop, but it has this like little mint edge. It's a good one. It's a stand-up, an ounce of it. Gosh, an ounce is usually in like the 6 to 8 % alpha range, so it's doing pretty good.
Mid range, it's high mid.
It's up there with like Cascade,
high mid.
But it's kind of like a higher alpha and noble, just being like, oh, we just you think about classic hopping.
You've talked about this before, and I think I said before that I don't think I've ever used it. But
you've never used Northern Brewer?
No, but
really.
I think
it's kind of a classic.
I might need to.
Yeah, it's a classic English one. It's really good.
Yeah, but I didn't usually do a lot of English beers. Pale ales. I just brew what I like. Pales, lights,
IPAs
reds.
are technically an English beer. You just an Americanized version of them.
There you go. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, we use all kinds of different hops.
So easy hop bill, easy grain bill.
Sounds
the
good.
yeast 2112 California Common, White Yeast 2112 California Common. If you're a White Labs brewer, they do have a California Common strain as well. 2112, it's everybody's. Pretty much every lab's got a version of it. Yeah, it's the American lager strain. It is warmer tolerant. It'll ferment up to 68 degrees.
Wow, that's a
And
lot.
it's pretty clean.
Nice.
It's not as
Do you have to
attenuative.
diacetyl rest it then.
You're already in diacetyl range.
Okay. Yeah. 'cause
Right,
you're-
at 68 degrees.
You're hotter.
Yeah. So no problem with diacetyl.
Okay.
It's a little less attenuative. It's quite a bit less attenuative than 21. So then say 1056, but I won't say quite a bit. It is less attenuative than 1056. So finishing gravity on this, so it's 1015 versus 1056 would probably be like 1012 for the same grain bill. And so it's got it leaves a little sweetness, and it's not like cloyingly sweet or anything you don't want to, stick in your face.
Right.
It's
you know.
It's malty.
that balance?
It's malty in the right areas. It's got a herbal punch and
Little
hop
sweetness
punch.
from the crystal.
Clean yeast.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking good.
All right.
Yeah. We will put show notes on this for both the extract versions. If you want to brew that one yourself, if you can't get it from us, you can pretty much get these. If you go to a brew shop that doesn't have a Crystal 80, you're in the wrong brew shop.
Yeah.
That's it's pretty thick. Turo and
standard.
Crystal 80. Northern Brewer is a classic. It would be weird not to. Now, if your brewery doesn't have Nectaron, that might be. This is one of the more expensive hops on the marketplace.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, these
Ooh.
are New Zealand hops, so they are usually about $3 an ounce. Northern Brewers gonna be more like $2 an ounce.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, you got to import these from the other side of the world.
All the way, all the way. So I'm listening to the soundtrack is faded out, which means we are pretty much at our hour.
I can hear the soundtrack still, can't you?
In my head, like in the way back recesses.
I think
but
everybody else
yeah.
can.
We'll just put it back in there. But that's going to be the show today.
Oh,
I hope
yeah.
you found this informative. I hope you get out there and try a California Common.
Interesting the way that we had to innovate. These brewers had to innovate in order to make a beer. And they had to make a beer. I mean, it was like no choice. We had to figure this out, how to make this beer, how to make it quick, how to make it decent. I mean, good.
Yeah.
And then cool ship up on the roof.
Yeah.
Bam. Kind of cool.
Let's do more of that. Make more beer. So get out there, make more beer. Try a California Common. I dare you. I triple dog dare you.
Gonna have to make
this
it
beer.
because I don't think we can buy them anymore.
You can't buy it. They
Dang.
fucking closed the brewery.
So this is a great reason to be a home brewer right now.
Yeah.
Just for this.
For the artifacts
For the
of
love,
history.
for the love of beer and California Common.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everybody.
Cheers.